Hello and welcome back. Let's continue learning more useful expressions you can use when you are getting your hair cut. As always, we will begin with the model dialogue, and afterwards, we will explain everything in detail. How does that look for you? Can you cut a little bit more off the top, please? Of course. About this much more off the top? That looks perfect. Thank you. First, after the first trim off the top of the head, the barber or the stylist might ask this question to see whether you are happy with how much they have taken off the top of the head. How does that look for you? How does that look for you? This is a simple question to find out whether you are happy with the haircut and how it looks, or the length that has been taken off your head. Let's go straight into a speaking practice. How does that look for you? How does that look for you? Great job, well done. Now, if you are happy with how the hair looks or the length that has been taken off, you can say, that looks great. But if you wanted more to be taken off, you can ask a question like this. Can you cut a little bit more off the top, please? Can you cut a little bit more off the top, please? As with many requests, we use the modal verb can and ask, can you cut? We then say a little bit more to say how much more we want cut off. And lastly, we have this expression off the top. The word off means for something to come away from something. So we use it to refer to hair being cut. And the phrase the top refers to where we want our hair to be cut, which is the top of our head. Let's practice asking this question. Can you cut a little bit more off the top, please? Can you cut a little bit more off the top, please? That was great. Well done. Next, here's what the barber or a stylist might say to confirm how much more you want cut from your hair. Of course. About this much more off the top? Of course. About this much more off the top? Now, quite often when a barber or a stylist is cutting hair off the top of the head, they hold your hair like this to see if this much off the head is what you are looking for. So while they are holding your hair like this, they may ask this question to see if this is what you are looking for. And much of the language in this sentence is the same as the language in the question we asked. Let's go straight into a speaking practice of this question. Of course. About this much more off the top? Of course. About this much more off the top? Great job, well done. Finally, to say that much off the top looks great, we can say something like this. That looks perfect, thank you. That looks perfect, thank you. First, we say that looks perfect to say that much off the top of the head is good. And then we add thank you at the end to make our statement polite. Let's go straight into a speaking practice. That looks perfect, thank you. That looks perfect, thank you. Excellent job, well done. Let's listen to the conversation again. How does that look for you? Can you cut a little bit more off the top, please? Of course. About this much more off the top? That looks perfect. Thank you. Okay, so it's now time to do a speaking practice of this dialogue. And as always, we will do 2 speaking practices. And all the lines will be on the screen. So when it's your turn, please read the lines and participate in the dialogue. Let's begin. How does that look for you? Of course. About this much more off the top? Can you cut a little bit more off the top, please? That looks perfect. Thank you. Fantastic job today. Well done. Okay, so in this lesson, we learned more useful expressions men often use when they are getting a haircut. The next lesson is the speaking drill lesson, and I will see you soon again in another lesson. Bye bye.